All right, let's call to order the Board of County Commissioners for Monday, September 15th, 2025. Roll call.
Commissioner Salee.
Here.
Commissioner Dunkerley.
Here.
Commissioner Sims.
Here. First item on the agenda is going to be announcements. We kind of had our trial run last week, went pretty well. So any of the directors that wish to make an announcement, we have 2 microphones here. Just encourage you to come up and tell us what's going on. Megan, Highway and Engineering.
Good morning. So for engineering this week, Alex is at the Workday Conference, so he will be available via cell and email.
Okay.
If you guys need him, Ian and I and the rest of the team are in the office if we can help you with anything in his absence. I did also want to make sure it was on your radar that the fiscal year 26 REAP grants, we're about a month out from the applications being due. As a reminder, the BOCC can make 3 applications, so we typically do 1 per district. So you should be hearing from Alex soon with more details on that, but just wanted to make sure it was on your radar as we start to finalize which projects we're going to submit. On the highways side, the paving crew is finishing up the chip seal project on 76th near Harvard, North Harvard in District 1. And the bridge crew is doing wing wall construction this week on the road class structure replacement up on North 113th East Avenue, and should be done with that in about 2 weeks, weather permitting.
Very good.
Yep.
Great job. Megan, thank you. Any other announcements? Nothing, Kathy? Parks? You all good today? Very good. Kenner? Commissioner Dunkerley?
Things are well, thank you.
Okay. Commissioner Salee?
All good, we're good.
All right. I do have one announcement. We do have a public hearing today, so anybody here for that item that's on the agenda, there is a sign-up sheet up front. Please come up and fill out. We just need your name, address, phone number. Yeah, so we'll ask again when it gets time in the agenda for that item, but if you'd like to come up early, the sign-up sheet's up there. So thank you. First up on the agenda is going to be proclamation. This is recognizing and congratulating the Tulsa City County Health Department on their 75th anniversary. Secretary Reed.
Whereas Tulsa City County Health Department is proudly celebrating its 75th anniversary serving the citizens of Tulsa County. Whereas since its establishment in 1950, the Tulsa Health Department has served as the primary health agency to more than 675,000 Tulsa County residents, including 13 municipalities and 4 unincorporated areas. Whereas the nationally accredited Tulsa Health Department is one of 2 autonomous local health departments in Oklahoma with statutory public health jurisdiction throughout Tulsa County and the city of Tulsa. Whereas the Tulsa Health Department's mission is to protect and support Tulsa County communities in pursuit of their health goals, and they strive to support and help the citizens reach those goals. Whereas the Tulsa Health Department provides community programs which the citizens can access, such as outreach and sooner care, teen pregnancy prevention, substance abuse prevention, school health, safe and healthy homes, and community health improvement plan. Whereas the Tulsa Health Department provides services such as testing and immunizations, family health services, and public safety and data services, which the citizens can utilize. And whereas Tulsa Health Department provides permits and inspections for food services, housing, and environmental issues. Now, therefore, the Board of County Commissioners of the County of Tulsa, Oklahoma, does recognize and congratulate the Tulsa City County Health Department as they celebrate their 75th anniversary. Thank you for your service to the communities and citizens you serve. Proclaimed this 15th day of September, 2025.
Dr. Dart, hey, congratulations, 75 years, quite an accomplishment. We'll bring this around, and here's your proclamation. So thank you guys very much for what you do.
We sure are. You know, just keep reminding people that way.
I try.
Okay, you got it. Motion to approve the proclamation?
Second.
Salee,
Yes.
Dunkerly.
Yes.
Sims.
Yes. Next item on the agenda is going to be the minutes, Board of County Commissioners meeting for September 8, 2025.
Move approval.
Second?
Salee,
Yes.
Dunkerly.
Yes.
Sims.
Yes. Next up, reports to accept and file. We have elected officials 1, 2, and 3. There are no questions. I'll entertain a motion.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Salee,
Motion to accept and file? Yes.
Salee,
Yes.
Dunkerly.
Yes.
Sims.
Yes. Next up, to unfinished business. Let's step through these. First up is going to be bid openings. We have one here, Parks request for proposals for baseball tournament operator at O'Brien Park.
Strike 3, LLC. Is the only bidder?
Make a motion to refer to procurement and parks for review and recommendations.
Second?
Salee,
Yes.
Dunkerly.
Yes.
Sims.
Yes. Next up, bid awards and recommendations. We have one request for qualifications here, architectural services for Tulsa County golf courses. It says deferred on this.
It is deferred.
It's a request to defer.
Motion to defer?
Okay.
Second.
Salee,
Yes.
Dunkerly.
Yes.
Sims.
Yes. Next item is amendments. We have 1, 2, and 3 here.
Motion to approve the amendments 1, 2, 3.
Second?
Salee,
Yes.
Dunkerly.
Yes.
Sims.
Yes. Next item on the agenda is going to be the public hearing. This is regarding the proposed project Clydesdale Economic Development Project Plan and its 4 supporting incentive districts for the purpose of providing information, including an analysis of potential positive or negative impacts and answering questions regarding the proposed project plan and incentive districts. If you would, just introduce yourself.
Do we need to go into hearing?
Yeah.
Make a motion to go into public hearing?
Second.
Salee,
Yes.
Dunkerly.
Yes.
Sims.
Yes. Apologies, now you're recognized.
No worries. Good morning, Commissioners. My name is Jeff Sabin. I'm with the Center for Economic Development Law in Oklahoma City. We were hired by INCOG and Rich Briere to represent the county's interests on this project as it moves forward. And so today's public hearing, I'm just going to give a brief overview of the project plan that you'll have a copy of. There will be a second public hearing scheduled on September 29th. There will be no action taken on the project plan until after that second public hearing concludes. So the project plan is a project plan under Oklahoma's Local Development Act. And the specific project that this project plan has been developed for is a multi-phase data center. And you'll note on the first bullet point, it's a specific industry classification number, and that's important because of the specific tools of the act that are being proposed here. The data center facility is going to be a minimum $700 million for initial investment. Each proposed phase will likely be a comparable number. There will be at least one data center in each of the 4 proposed phases, and then a tax incentive district is proposed for each phase. The Local Development Act provides two main tools for local economic development projects. One, you guys are probably familiar with through the airport and some other projects, is tax increment financing, where you apportion the taxes on increased valuation for specific project costs. The other one is what's being proposed here, which is a tax incentive district. And all that is really is the ability to partially abate or exempt certain local taxes. In most instances, a TID, an incentive district, an abatement can only go 5 years. However, the Local Development Act allows this particular industry classification number for data center facilities to have incentive districts go out 25 years comparable to a TID. This was part of I think, a negotiated settlement with the industry after Google built their campus in Pryor, where they disallowed data center facilities to be part of the state manufacturing exemption. So they tried to provide for a similar outlet undertaken at the local level. The project location you see here is in between 76th Street and 86th Street on the north side, unincorporated county, within the Owasso Public School District. And you can see the 4 proposed incentive districts or phases on this particular map. Each incentive district would have a deferred creation date up to 10 years from the approval date of the project plan, and those would be automatically triggered once certain preconditions were met. The most important one being a final CO being issued on specific facilities. So each incentive district would have its own separate 25-year period. The project's been evaluated by a whole lot of people, including county staff, Commissioner Salee, in whose district the project sits, INCOG staff, your Planning Commission staff, the Local Development Act Review Committee, which consisted of all the taxing jurisdictions representatives and representatives of the community at large. The incentive being requested within each TID is a 100% ad valorem exemption for 25 years. And that would be for all ad valorem taxes and ad valorem-based special assessments against new real and personal property investments in the project. And as I mentioned, this is the one particular industry classification code that allows those incentives to be provided for 25 years. The zoning for the project has already been approved. I'm sure you guys are aware of the multiple-hour meeting from several months ago. But there's already been a highest and best use analysis done for this particular site, and this project meets that use analysis. And kind of more importantly, in order to make the project happen, which is the statutory guideline and reason why the Local Development Act exists, the incentive is needed in order for the project to actually locate here. A lot of the surrounding states and states nationwide that promote data centers actually treat data center facilities or personal property differently than Oklahoma does. Oklahoma is kind of unique in that it subjects it to regular ad valorem taxes. So if regular ad valorem taxes were going to be imposed on this project, the cost would be prohibitive for them to actually remain competitive. The objectives in the plan, obviously we want the project to happen. And then through negotiations, we also want to make sure the taxing jurisdictions get revenue from the project. And so we've negotiated substantial pilot payments, and I'll go into those in a little bit. We also wanted to generate some specific community betterment or investment payments to help pay for some adjacent roadway improvements to the site. And then ultimately, we want to help achieve the county's economic development goals and spur some ancillary development, including some new employment generation. So the public benefits come primarily from the negotiated pilot payments while the incentive districts are in effect. So as I mentioned earlier, it's about $700 million per phase. That's an approximation. We don't know until they start building what the actual cost will be. And then for a project of that level of investment, there's really only modest job creation, about 50 new permanent positions upon completion. But those would be high-paying jobs. And that calculation also doesn't include the significant other economic activity generated, especially during construction and during their 4 to 6 year refresh cycles for their computer servers and equipment. The pilot payments that have been negotiated is a $1.5 million per year per data center incentive. And that pilot payment is proposed to be allocated in proportion to each taxing entity's ad valorem share. So you have your total millage rate, levies levied on behalf of individual taxing entities contribute to that rate. And so what's being proposed is that $1.5 million will just be split up proportionally. That's the initial payment for the initial phase, for the initial data center. When subsequent data centers come online, we've negotiated an increase in that initial payment based on CPI. So however much CPI has increased from when that initial data center project payment was created, the initial payment for the next data center will go up the same rate that the CPI has increased. And then for all these pilot payments, they would increase at 1% per year for the duration of each incentive district. And then in addition to the pilot payment, there's a $500,000 annual payment specifically for community betterment payments, specifically for the adjacent roadway construction and widening. The elements in the project plan provide pretty much what we've talked about, 100% exemption for ad valorem taxes and special assessments for a period of 25 years for each phase, with a deferred effective date for each of the incentive districts accompanying each phase, The entities whose levies are included within that exemption include those entities listed, obviously the county, Owasso Public Schools, Tulsa Tech, TCC, Health Department, and the library. Incentive districts, unlike TIFs, we actually have to go get a tax incentive agreement approved by the governing bodies from each of the taxing entities. We actually start that process later this week. But before the incentive district and the project plan can actually be effective and any incentives provided, each of the taxing entities has to sign off on their levies to be included within the incentive. The financial impacts of the project, primarily through pilot payments, at least through the initial term of the TIDs. Once each TID expires, the full value of the property goes on the tax rolls. There's the 50 permanent employees at a relatively high wage. That's about $3.5 million in annual payroll. That does not include the temporary employment during construction or during their refresh cycles. Those particular activities in the refresh cycles and the initial construction are anticipated to generate significant indirect and induced economic activity as well. The approval process for the project plan. So the Local Development Act Review Committee determined that the project was eligible as a reinvestment area due to the needed infrastructure to attract major investment in the area. They also determined that the project had positive financial impacts and recommended approval at their meeting on August 21st. TMAPC considered the project and made a determination that the project plan conforms with the county's comprehensive plan at its meeting on September 3rd. So the next steps in the process, today is the first public hearing. Again, there's a second public hearing scheduled for the 29th. And then following that second public hearing, the county can consider a resolution that would actually approve the project plan. And then the taxing jurisdictions will be considering the tax incentive agreement over the next few weeks. I anticipate that incentive agreement also being on your agenda on the 29th, following the public hearing. And then each TID would be effective at a later date, closer to each project's phase completion after the accomplishment of the preconditions for each phase being enacted. The first public hearing has a specific purpose under the Local Development Act in order to provide information about the project plan and to have the opportunity to answer any questions. The second public hearing is really giving the members of the public an opportunity to voice their opinions for or against before you all take any action. There are representatives from the project developer and utility providers here. If any questions specific to the project are available that I may not be able to answer, but any other project plan related questions, I'll be happy to answer to the best of my ability.
Very good. Thank you, Jeff. Any questions from the commissioners before we open it to the floor? Commissioner Dunkerley?
Point of clarity at the beginning, and I'm not voicing a disagreement in any way. I just want a point of clarity. Because at the beginning of your presentation, you clarified that you represent the county and you were hired by Rich Briere with the NCOG. And again, that may be the right words to say, it may be appropriate, but I just want to make sure that everyone understands that you don't represent the county in this way. Board of County Commissioners represent the county. And I don't think, I could be wrong, but I don't think I've ever met you or at all. So we are kind of starting at a point of a beginning point here. This is not something that's been talked about, at least with me, very often or for very long. So I just want to make sure that's clear.
That's correct. NCOG is my client, but the specific language in my engagement agreement is that I am looking out for the county's interests.
Understood.
Any other questions before we open it to the floor? Have any questions? All right, with that, let's open it up to the floor. Anyone who's interested in asking questions related to this agenda item, please come forward. Again, we have a sign-up sheet up front. Limit your question to 2 minutes if possible. Joe Hart, you're recognized. Good afternoon.
Thanks for allowing me to speak about the proposed 25-year, 100% tax abatement for the data center project. I want to raise several concerns that I believe affect not just one district or one utility, but the entire county and its taxpayers. School funding fairness. Let me address the issue of fairness in school funding. As you know, our state has recently changed its funding formula so that ad valorem taxes would be shared more equitably, among all districts in the state. Yet here, the company is offering one local school district nearly $1 million a year in exchange for their support, which they have already provided in writing. This means one district benefits while all other districts in the state are left with nothing for the next 25 years. In practice, this arrangement circumvents the spirit of our law. It undermines the intent of equitable school funding and leaves most districts disadvantaged. I would ask you to consider how the other districts in our county would feel if they knew they were being left out of the future revenues entirely. Second, let's look at the utility arrangement. The rural water district cannot meet the facility's needs, so the city of Tulsa has agreed to supply the water. The company has agreed to build the infrastructure connection and then purchase that water from the rural district at a substantial markup. While this may be a current benefit in today's market, we can guarantee this arrangement will always remain beneficial to the city. Tulsa, can we guarantee this is going to be beneficial always? We understand this agreement benefits the company and the utility, specifically providing an additional relatively clean supply of water for processing. But it is the Tulsa County taxpayers who are being asked to give up millions of dollars in tax revenue. And I see no benefit for them in this agreement. I understand the county will be receiving around $14 million as a lump sum for the required road infrastructure. But this request cites no revenue for upkeep. So $0 will be paid by the company for the next 25 years, which means all maintenance burdens must be paid by Tulsa County taxpayers. I don't think that this is getting us a good deal. That's all I have to say about that. I think we need to negotiate for better. How much are we losing from, do we have the county assessor to tell us how much we're losing in the ad valorem dollars? Do we know what it would have been without this deal? And then one other quick question. Who's on the recommending committee for this?
Okay. Thank you, Joe. I think we can get answers to those. First up, do we have anybody from the school district, or would you like to answer, Jeff, in relation to the school funding?
So the school funding formula, I mean, it is what it is. The key here is that you're not supposed to use the tools of the Local Development Act for a project that would happen anyway. And it's been the analysis of staff in the Local Development Act Review Committee that this project would not happen without the provided incentive. And you'll see in some TIF projects even some specific revenue source payments being made to the school district in whose jurisdiction the project specifically sits. That is also kind of done outside the formula, so this is relatively standard practice, and the legislature actually provided for those particular payments to be outside the formula, so it was part of the scheme. And in terms of the representatives on the review committee, it included a representative from each of the entities who levy taxes in the area, so each of these taxing entities had representation. They did approve unanimously a recommendation for approval for the project plan. In addition to representatives from each of these taxing entities, there was also representatives from the Tulsa Metropolitan Area Planning Commission, and there were 3 representatives representing the public at large, including one who's a representative of the business community in the vicinity.
Estimated tax, I think that was one of the questions. What potentially are we losing from an ad valorem standpoint?
Since we don't anticipate the project happening without this incentive, we don't anticipate there being any loss of taxes.
What's the current ad valorem on this property? Do we know that number?
$850.
$850? For how many acres?
500?
And it's $850?
Yes. It's currently agricultural use.
Okay, so it's ag exempt, okay.
Point of clarification. So if we make the assumption that the project doesn't go forward, then we don't gain anything or lose anything. But the project does go forward, and we give them away, give all this money away that we would have if that project were to go forward. What's the difference there? Because we don't know that the project wouldn't go forward.
If there was no incentive being provided, I don't think that the end user would be able to provide the services at a rate that would make them competitive. I don't, Tony.
I guess what I'm trying to figure out is what the net benefit is for the county. So if we don't have the number of what it could be, how can we evaluate what the net benefit or net loss would be?
I mean,
So like they're going to generate X amount of dollars, right, in revenue and jobs and that kind of thing. But we're going to give up how much?
Yeah, I think that, I mean, just I'll give you my personal perspective, Joe. I think that's part of what the give and take is.
Yeah.
You're looking at right now, $150, which I'm shocked. That's ad valorem for 500 acres, but that's what it is. So say nothing happens on that property, if we don't incentivize it for the next 20 years, we're getting ad valorem of $850. So I get what you're asking is, okay, if they do build this, what would their actually assessed value? Really, I mean, considering it's a $700 million investment, I believe, per phase, I would say it'd be pretty significant. But that's kind of the give and take. You try to find that
Yeah, and
balance.
all I'm asking for is so we can just do the math and say, you know, what is this what we're looking at? You know, right now we're talking in kind of what ifs, but I'd like to at least look at the numbers and say, hypothetically speaking, this is what we stand to gain at this current deal. Maybe we can negotiate a better number. That's all I'm saying.
Very good. We'll see if we can get you an answer to that.
I mean, we did run a series of projections based on our own assumptions, so not necessarily what the company was able to provide, based on, you know, if the project were able to happen without any kind of incentive. And it did show in the neighborhood of about $47 million over 25 years of total ad valorem generation potential. But again, this project would not be happening without an incentive.
Okay, very good. Thank you. Any other? Troy Fugate. Troy Fugate? Thanks for coming, Troy.
Thank you, Commissioners. Let me start full disclosure. I'm a board member on the TMAPC. We heard the zoning and plat information on this property on September 3rd. Since then, I have had a lot of people reach out and ask a lot of specific questions about this project that that I couldn't answer. Enough that for the first time, I'm at a meeting like this to try to just explain what we're hearing from the public, or at least what I'm hearing from the public and some of the concerns that they have. The first speaker we had touched on half of what I was going to speak about, so I'm not going to beat a dead horse here. But the big thing is transparency. You know, I understand the way the law is written, that the companies have a non-disclosure as to who it is that's asking for, you know, we'll use Jeff's math. If the proposed tax is $48 million and their payout over the next 25 years directly to the people on the review committee, I'm hearing that for the first time. That doesn't really seem justified. But you know, if that difference is $30 million, I think that's the difference that the first speaker was talking about, is that we are giving up ad valorem taxes of $30 million. Now, my understanding of a TIF or a TID is that it's a partnership between the community, the government, and a business entity where they can completely forego taxes or postpone taxes as an investment vehicle. We're going to allow you to start the project early with paying less money up front, and then we're going to get our tax base back in the end, which is it's a win for the company, it's a win for the government institution, and it's a win for the public. What I'm hearing from the people who have looked into this, what information is available, is that we've got a $700 million data center with very few employees. So we don't have the income tax bite you would have from a normal large business facility. I'm going to assume that what the system does not create retail sales tax. So there's no retail sales tax being generated here for the future. And if the company has a 25-year get-out-of-jail-free card when it comes to the taxes, it's like, okay, well, what are the Tulsa County taxpayers getting out of this deal in the long term? They don't necessarily have to get anything. I understand the benefit of $850 being taxed on 500 acres, and this entity,
Mr.
using
Fugate?
projections of $47 million in the future. That's a lot.
Have a question? Just need a question. Love to get you answers. Matter of fact, when we reviewed the zoning case on this, we spent 3.5 hours. We had every expert from the Water District to City of Tulsa to answer these exact questions you're presenting right now. Do you have a specific question? Love to try to get you an answer.
I do. What most people's concern of the information that's not available right now is they would like the assessor to project what the taxes on the facility, one phase at a time, all 4 phases being complete, what would that money actually be?
Okay.
Second thing I'm hearing is the money that's being proposed to the county, there is some infrastructure, roads and stuff that the county has to put in. Is that money that would just simply put in the roads, and over a 25-year period, our Tulsa County citizens going to be left with the maintenance of those roads and everything else that goes across that? So really, it's 2 things. Cost of the abatement in the end, and is the county going to be left whole, or is the burden going to be shifted over to the taxpayers?
Very good. Thank you. Jeff, would you like to answer that?
I think the intent is, so the $500,000 for road improvements would be bonded to do the widening projects on the specific roads adjacent to the site. And then by the time those are paid off, the TIDs will hopefully be close to being expired, and at that point, that revenue will go back on the tax rolls just like normal. So you all will have additional, just regular ad valorem revenue to use for county road projects just across the county, not just for the roads that have been constructed with those betterment improvements. The project developers have done some economic impact analysis. I don't know how much they're willing to share.
I think he's talking about the sales tax. One thing we heard even last week, Mr. Fugate, was in our management conference from the Tulsa Regional Chamber. Since our 3.5-hour meeting that we had on this issue, they've had a number of businesses reach out to the chamber and indicate that they would not be here without the data center out at Pryor, and that it has a significant impact on a number of jobs outside of that facility. So I think one thing, you have to look at the entire development as a whole and what impact it has throughout the community with ancillary jobs. So we learned a lot of that through that process, but that was something that they'd had a number of business owners reach out and just stress they wouldn't be here. Their companies have grown significantly because of the investments that have been made in data centers. So I just want to point that out.
The primary indirect economic benefits are going to come from the initial construction, and then when they, every 4 to 7 years, when they have to go and replace or update pretty much the entire servers, all of their servers. Technology, it moves fast. The technology increases and changes quickly, and they have to be able to keep up. And so every 4 to 6 years, they're having to basically reinvest probably 60 to 70% of that $700 million to completely rebuild their infrastructure within their facility.
And I think
That
that's where a lot of
requires
these
thousands of
third-party contractors come in, is they're going to be coming back into the facility, constantly upgrading the technology, and that's where they do their day-to-day work. So it impacts far more than just these jobs right here. With respect to the roads, I think as commissioners, we're always concerned about our districts, but we do try to pay attention to areas in other districts that are really bottlenecks, and there is a lot of community engagement on, seeking improvements. 86th is definitely, and Commissioner, you may want to talk to that. I think that was one of Mr. Fugate's questions as far as the cost of that property to extend that road and expand that road for the current congestion that's up there is pretty significant. So,
Yeah, absolutely. That was one thing that we were looking at is with this company coming in, how can it benefit, Tulsa County in multiple ways? And Tulsa County has committed already the expansion of 86th Street for 2 miles. This was done 10 years ago. And due to inflationary and other reasons, there's not enough funding. Then this is on Vision Tulsa. There's not enough funding to complete our obligation. And so, and there's commissioners also that have projects that are in jeopardy of not being funded just because of the cost of construction. And so this was an opportunity to kind of replenish, or at least, I meant the initial, and Megan, you might be able to answer that, but I think the initial estimates on that 2-mile project was $8 million. The estimates now is $22 million to complete those 2 miles that we've obligated ourselves to do. And we all have roads in that Vision Tulsa to complete. And so without this funding, this probably would not get improved as we promised the taxpayers. So they are committing that $500,000. This is just for the first phase to complete our obligation on finishing this project, much-needed project. It's a bottleneck public safety issue, and all the taxing entities understood that this would benefit not just Tulsa County, but the cities and the schools and just all the public safety initiatives that are around that area. And on maintenance, we're obligated to take care of all those roads, whether they're 4-lane or 2-lane, and I don't think there's any entity out there that continues to gives us on the private sector funding forevermore to maintain those roads. That's the responsibility. We get our own funding from the state of Oklahoma and federal funds to maintain our roads. So, but this is an opportunity for the end user to fulfill our obligation to come up with $12 million that we don't have to finish this very important road, and we appreciate that that commitment.
and to put that in perspective, right now, we, as was indicated, we have $850 on an ad valorem to pay for the $22 million road. So you can see, when we see these opportunities, you can see the incentives for the communities, because this does help us fast track some of these projects that need to address critical, as the Commissioner said, public safety issues as well. I think we didn't get one response to Mr. Hart's question on the school district. Do we have anybody from the school district that would like to comment that was part of the taxing entity committee?
I think Philip had to cancel over the weekend.
Okay.
But happy to say a couple things about the road.
If you step up and introduce yourself.
Lauren Harvey, Development Director with Beal Infrastructure. We are the developer on the project. So one thing on the roads, through our community meetings, public comments, feedbacks, one of the biggest things we heard was, excuse me, the congestion on 86th Street, the fact that it hasn't been widened, and wanted to use this opportunity to basically take that burden off the taxpayers and support those road improvements, both at 86 and at 76. So that was just part of the process, part of the negotiation with the county, and us addressing some public comments that we received and community feedback and big concerns that they had made. On the school district as well, I don't know if this is going to help clarify, but the school district is receiving funding on a pro rata, basically how they would have anyway, on the tax roll. And Jeff, maybe, or Tony, you can help me clarify that. But it's not a special payment to Owasso schools. It is based off of just how much pro rata share they would have received, just like all the other taxing entities on the tax roll. So did I explain that correctly?
So that $1.5 million is allocated to each of the taxing jurisdictions in proportion to how much their individual levies contribute to the overall millage rate.
Yep.
Very good. Then, I'll just say as a commissioner of District 2, I just want to point out that this money, with respect to the roads, is restricted to this area to completing that project. I'll tell you, I'm not happy about it. I would love for that to be flexible in case there's a more important project in my district. But per this agreement, it's actually restricted to that area. So it has to go to that project. So I wanted to point that out.
And Mr. Chair, and that is very typical in these type of projects, that it is project-specific, that whether it's water, electric, it could be roads, infrastructure, that these benefits that all the taxing entities are receiving are project-specific. So this is going for infrastructure that is around this facility. And it was a previous commitment that we already had. We just didn't have the funding. So this is an opportunity to take care of our obligation and assist in the project itself.
Like, tag on that, echo the chairman's standpoint from perspective of the other districts. I think the improvements to this road make a lot of sense. That's one of the positives. I think our agenda item is to discuss potential positives and potential negatives. That's certainly a positive, and I see a lot of other positives. But I would like to ask that question, and maybe we can have some follow-up documentation on this, because I think you referenced the Local Development Act. And that's probably one of the documents that provides a foundation for this and a structure for this. But what is the actual language? What's the statute that says this has to be a particular geographic area? And why can't we have flexibility? And just like more information about that.
So the Local Development Act provides for the creation of districts, either a tax increment district or a tax incentive district, and a project area. The project area is the area that needs the project infrastructure to happen, and the funds raised through increment or pilot payments through those tools are restricted to their use within the project area. So you can't, basically, there's a legislative guideline in the Local Development Act where you're not supposed to use the tools of the act to basically circumvent or, the right way to phrase this, basically take over or do this in lieu of what your ordinary roles are. It's designed to specifically attract and get specific local development to happen at a particular location.
I respect that. I would just remind you that this is countywide taxes, though. They're not district-wide, or they're not geographic like that. This is county ad valorem, so it's countywide. So there is a counter-argument to this, just saying.
Thank you. Any other? Scott Lassett. Scott, if you could, name, address for the record?
Hello. If I sign in, I need to state it on here.
Yeah, is the address on there? Okay, we're good.
Okay.
Thank you.
Hi, Commissioners. My name is Scott Lassen. I'm the CEO of Bailey Medical Center in Owasso. I'm the chair-elect for the Owasso Chamber of Commerce. I was asked to represent the Chamber of Commerce this morning. I'll just keep my comments very brief and short, but just kind of like we discussed earlier, your comments about the data center in Pryor and just the overall economic impact that came along with that center, with the surrounding industries and within the community. Because of that, Owasso is supportive, and the Owasso Chamber of Commerce, I should say, is supportive of this project moving forward.
Okay, very good. Thank you. Deputy Chief? John Fothergill, Tulsa County Treasurer.
Thank you. A couple questions. This is the approval of this, correct? I mean, this is what you guys are doing. This was negotiated by the review committee, and then it's to you guys for approval.
The approval won't happen until the next meeting, though.
Right, but that's the way it worked, right? The review committee, did any of you guys sit on the review committee, or was it a deputy? Okay. Two things. Was the interest rate, so they said 1% per year, right? It would go up. And having a wind turbine on my land, I know what that 1% per year does, because that's what I initially locked in on. Compared to CPI, right? So if you look at the CPIs from 2000 to today, which is 25 years, it averages 2.55%, right? That's an average. Some years it's been really high, some years it's been really low, but an average of the last 25 years, 2.55%. So if you did $100 for 25 years at 1%, you get $128.24. Did that same $100 at CPI for 25 years, you get $184, okay? You can see a dramatic difference there, right? Now, when they're reevaluating for the second phase and the third phase, they said they would use CPI then. Well, why not use CPI every year, right? Because everything's going up. Ground beef is $7.99 a pound. And being a farmer that has cows, I really like that when I sell them, but not when I go to the grocery store. Because everything's gone up, not just ground beef, right? Not just the price I'm getting for the cow. Everything's gone up, okay? My diesel's gone up. Buying a new tractor's gone up. Buying hay wrap's gone up, not just the ground beef, okay? So I would suggest that we at least get CPI out of this deal because everything's going up. That would be my number one suggestion. Number two suggestion, if this is truly but for, have they started construction? If they've already started construction, is it but for? The same thing was said to WPX building when it was coming out of the ground. They said, you know, but for, we're going to go to Houston. Well, WPX went to Houston. The building's still there. And we're not going to get taxes on it for the next 22 years. So companies change, people come and go, but that 25 years, once it's in law, is done. So my suggestion is we negotiate as best we can for the county, for the citizens of the county, because although, you know, I want the project to go through, I think data centers are great. We don't need to get screwed in the process. Thank you.
Thank you, John. Deputy Chief? Yeah, Joe?
He gave us the list of the entities as a whole. I was wanting to see if we could get like who the representatives were for each one of those entities.
Yeah, I believe we can
And
do
then
that.
one other quick thing. Can we see the projections that you guys have produced, the research that you guys have done, so that we can evaluate your data and see, you know, if it's valid, what we
I
think?
think those have been made, those were given to
So, but to the public, can we?
What projections, just to
So
clarify that, Joe?
they spoke of economic projections and what they say could happen. I'd just like to be able to evaluate their data.
Okay, you may be talking about the regional chamber and some of the things they've been talking about, the other businesses that are involved, kind of how this expands. I'm sure, Lauren, you probably have things too. We'll try to get both.
Yeah,
We'll get their
as
data
much data
and-
as we
and-
can.
and the
That's all
chamber.
I'm asking for. If there's data that's available, if it could be made public, I think that'd be great.
Bet, yeah, that'd be great. Thanks, Joe. Deputy Chief, that's it? No further questions? I'll just make a call. Any further questions from the public? One last call. Any other questions from the public? Very good. We'll close the floor. Entertain a motion. No further
Motion,
questions?
Motion to close the public hearing.
Second?
Salee,
Yes.
Dunkerly,
Yes.
Sims,
Yes. Next item on the agenda is going to be action items. First up is new replacement procurement officer. This assessor request.
Move to approve?
Second.
Salee,
Yes.
Dunkerly, Sims,
Yes. Item B, resolution on disposition of funds, cash fund estimate of needs from August 14th to September 10th, 2025.
Move approval.
Second?
Salee,
Yes.
Dunkerly,
Yes.
Sims,
Yes. Item C, request for approval. We have 1 through 4 here. If there are no questions, I'll entertain a motion.
Move to approve?
Second the motion.
Salee,
Yes.
Dunkerly,
Yes.
Sims,
Yes. Next up, agreements. We have 1 through 4.
Motion to approve agreements 1 through 4.
Second?
Salee,
Yes.
Dunkerly,
Yes.
Sims,
Yes. Item E, inventory resolutions 1 through 3.
Move to approve?
Second.
Salee,
Yes.
Dunkerly,
Yes.
Sims,
Yes. Item F, sole source. This is highway request.
Move approval.
Second?
Salee,
Yes.
Dunkerly,
Yes.
Sims,
Yes. Item G, utility permits, engineers request 1 through 3.
Move to approve the permits?
Second.
Salee,
Yes.
Dunkerly,
Yes.
Sims,
Yes. Item H, claims.
Move to pay the bills.
Second?
Salee,
Yes.
Dunkerly,
Yes.
Sims,
Yes. Item I, payroll claims for biweekly 8/23 through 9/5/2025.
Move to approve?
Second.
Salee,
Yes.
Dunkerly,
Yes.
Yes.
Sims,
Item J, blanket purchase orders and emergency purchase orders.
Move approval.
Second?
Salee,
Yes.
Dunkerly,
Yes.
Sims,
Yes. Item K, juvenile detention home update to accept and file from September 3rd through the 10th, 2025. Director Parker.
Morning, Commissioners.
Good morning.
Had a fairly uneventful week, which is always good in our business, but first and foremost, I'd like to share with you, Mrs. Lewis, our assistant, lost her mother this week, and so keep her in your prayers if you would. Staffing, we had 9 interviews, which was a good week. We sent 5 of them forward. We lost 2 during that period, self-terminations. We also were able to send Joseph Fuentes through an accreditation with National Locksmithing Institute to help us work on some of the lock issues that we have. We're grateful for the commission to approving his training. We'll also see some benefit because we've offered our services to not only help the detention facility, but also help the Bureau with any lock issues now that we have a trained locksmith on board. Ronnie and her team have been gracious enough to return some of the equipment and tools that were used in the past to work on those, so we're excited about turning another chapter.
Very good. Thank you, Director.
Thank you. Motion to accept and file?
Second?
Salee.
Yes.
Dunkerly.
Yes.
Sims.
Yes. Next up on the agenda is executive sessions. DA request by Andrew Higginbotham.
Motion to go into executive session?
Second?
Salee.
Yes.
Dunkerly.
Yes.
Sims.
Yes.